She's got some of the flashiest animations we've ever seen in this game, hands down, but in Marvel Strike Force, pretty doesn't win matches. Do her abilities back up the light show, or is she a character that you want to skip and build later? Let's find out. Let's go ahead and take a look at the basic stats, and these numbers are incredible. She's the 4th strongest character overall stat-wise in the game, 2nd biggest health pool. That itself is crazy. 6th overall with damage, and we're going to see she does a ton of out of turn damage, so that stat right there is impressive. Armor at 20, focus at 10th. She does have some negative effects to put down, so having that focus stat, that's not shabby either. Resist at 12, and she's clocking in at 126 speed. Not super fast. She's gonna go, I think, first on the team, but this team again moves slow. The team is going to take hits first, they're going to absorb hits, then they're going to retaliate. So we will notice that these members all have slower speed stats. We're going to see that she has a lot of out of turn damage. She's going to be hitting multiple enemies at a time. And so for that reason, I think we're going to have to go with Raider. In this way, she can take advantage of that high speed stat. If she can hit harder, right? If we're just rolling the dice and this is one of those times where she just happens to hit harder, we're going to take it, right? We're going to take it. So I think Raider's appropriate. We'll be open to discussion on that mindset. But again, as we see, there's tons of out of turn damage. There's a lot of AoEs. And so since damage is the call, I think Raider is the right choice. Let's look at the passive ability Agent of Darkness. On enemy turn in war, if that enemy has silence or is a summoned minion, you're going to attack that enemy for piercing damage, and it will drain as well, restoring health to your character. If Darkstar has 3 Winter Guard allies, you're going to prolong the duration of that silence on an enemy by 1. What that means essentially is if the enemy survives the experience, this will continue to happen. The enemy is going to receive an extra silence. They're going to use their turn, get attacked by Darkstar, consume that silence, and then when a turn comes around again, the process repeats. So again, we have perpetual out of turn damage here, and because of Omega Red, they will indeed have silence applied to them. Knowing that, let's take another look at our opening sequence. So Omega Red, he's going to go first, just like that, automatic before anybody else gets to take a turn. And then I want you to notice Yelena up there in the upper corner, she has silence. So we're going to slow this down a bit. Now notice we have that attack, right? Out of turn damage, because Yelena up there is getting ready to go. And now she has 2 silence. So again, this is just going to keep happening. Darkstar is just going to continue to attack opponents when it's their turn, as long as they have silence, and she's going to make sure they continue to have silence for the duration of the matchup. Here's where things get a little crazy. On 1 or more enemies' death, you're going to attack all enemies. So that reminds us of back in the day, people like Gwenpool, people like Black Panther. If you eliminate somebody from the board, there's automatically another attack all. If multiple people are eliminated in this fashion, this attack can continue to go. So this can be devastating to your opponent. In addition, there is a 50% drain involved, so she's going to heal herself while this is happening. You want to make sure, right, if you are being controlled, here's one way you can get out. It reduces all negative effects on self and Winter Guard allies by 1, so you can pick off a weak opponent if you find that Darkstar is being controlled, which is a problem, right? That's one of the weak spots of this game, of this team, and this is how you get out of it. In addition, it will apply safeguard and immunity to all Winter Guard allies. So it's another reflexive way to reapply the safeguard and immunity for your team. A great way to observe this is we'll go against the Undying here since they have minions. See, someone's down. We got automatic attack right there. Attack all, right? It hits everybody. We knock somebody else out. She does it again. So it doesn't fill speed bar. Just when somebody gets eliminated, she gets an automatic attack all. We'll go ahead and do the ultimate here just to demonstrate once again. So this is what makes her so devastating, right? People dropped off the map, automatic attack all coming up, and right, it just keeps happening every time a person gets eliminated. It's very, very dangerous. In addition, in war, if you have 3 or more Winter Guard allies, enemies cannot gain assists now. There are no assists with this team in Alliance War. Enemies cannot have their max health increased through passive abilities. We might not understand this, but this is incredible. We're going to show you some examples shortly. If any enemy has silence, This character and all Winter Guard allies cannot gain exhausted. Again, silence is going to be put out there right away in the beginning by Omega Red, so characters like Mephisto and other characters that put exhausted on you and get extra effects, that will not happen against the Winter Guard team. And this is, again, it's saying here, it's not going to remove the exhausted. If again, you're coming in to attack this team multiple times, it will not remove the exhausted. You just cannot apply it during the matchup. A couple of the biggest examples of individuals that have that health in their passive, first is Apocalypse. So just think about this for a minute. Gain 70% max health. All allies gain 20% max health. That's just gone, right? So 70% of the health going up against Apocalypse simply will not exist. Then again, here we have Old Man Logan. His passive ability, gain 50% max health. Mercs for Money allies gain 50% max health. So there are a lot of teams where one character perhaps gives extra damage, one gives extra focus and resistance, and one of those characters gives extra health to the team. Darkstar eliminates that from happening. In addition, with the new stats, they're just stronger and people have less health. That's going to make it so she pops off quite frequently. It'd be easier to knock people out, making so that automatic out of turn retaliation continues to happen. Her ultimate ability is called Dark Force Storm. You're going to clear 2 negative effects from her and all Winter Guard allies. We're going to clear those negative effects because the Winter Guard team takes damage first, right? They absorb that opening hit. You could have negative effects on your team, could be on Darkstar. That's a great way to control her. If you can control her, you control the team. So we're going to be eliminating negative effects from her and Winter Guard allies before we start this attack, and it is an attack all for an excessive amount of damage. You also apply immunity and offense up to all Winter Guard allies, making it more difficult to apply negative effects to the team and making sure that subsequent members of the Winter Guard team will be able to attack with offense up into the enemies. You're going to clear all battlefield effects on the allied side. Enemies killed by this attack cannot be revived. So we'll be clearing battlefield effects from the likes of Odin, Franklin, Null, and the Red Hulk. So far, all that stuff just applies everywhere, but now specifically in Alliance War, if the character has 3 Winter Guard allies, you're going to steal 15% health from all enemies. Amazing. You have a percent-based health steal. This is something that will be good for a long time to come. You're going to redistribute that 300% of whatever you take goes back into the team. So once again, if the team was already harmed by incoming attacks, this is a rebalance to make sure that your team is healthy again and continue the fight. You'll reduce the duration of all positive effects by 3 for all protector allies. We might be wondering, well, what does that mean? Again, there's a lot of protectors out there that just have reflexive abilities that if people start taking damage, if people go below 50% health, then the protectors automatically put up taunts, defense up, things of that nature. They put people in stealth. So this will strip all that away, making it so you can continue your onslaught against your opponent. In the meantime, you'll be also clearing 2 positive effects from those enemies. Copy and clear revive once using the enemy's strength in your favor, and you will apply Safeguard for 2 turns for self and all Winter Guard allies. This attack cannot be blocked or dodged. So that Safeguard, once again, in Alliance War, earlier, you're going to get immunity regardless in any game mode, but in Alliance War, when you do this, you also get Safeguard. So once again, we have the addition of Safeguard and immunity to keep the team safe. Let's illustrate this by going up against the Brimstone team. They're one of the teams that can really fight back hard, can do a lot of damage. So we see Daemon there taking a hit, and our health isn't that bad, but Hellcat gets to go. They're starting to whittle us down. We're taking some hits. So, right, they could drill somebody out here. So we'll go ahead and do the ultimate and just notice how our health gets us right back in this matchup. They're taking some big damage. We now have 100% health, Safeguard, and immunity. Really difficult to deal with us at this point. Her special ability is called Shadow Smite. You're going to attack primary and adjacent targets for damage and then copy and clear all positive effects, including taunt. So it's a great way to keep your person resilient and up to date. She is kind of the weak link. She's the squishiest sort of the team. So you want to make sure that she's up and running. And so this is a way to get some positive effects to keep that happening. And again, this is piercing damage. Once again, health steal 20% from the primary target, and you're going to amplify that up to 300%, redistribute it to the rest of the team to keep them healthy. And if you're in war, right? If you're in war, it's going to do that for adjacent targets as well. Percent-based damage is incredible. That's one of the things that made the Black Knight such a formidable character. And inside the team, right? Inside the team, they're allowing her to do this same thing as well. She's a great character, very, very strong abilities. So the only example I have here, we have Disrupted, so it's not very good. We can look at Ursa Major's health to see how much healing it is. It's not a ton. I would have took those positive buffs from Kahori to make sure that Darkstar stayed strong. This is just a real world example of how that ability is going to function. Her basic ability is called Out of Darkness. You're going to attack your primary target for 80% piercing damage, copy and clear a random positive effect. Won't have to worry about picking up taunt, and then you're going to do this 2 more times. Normally, we don't really make it to our basic, but it's just good to know what it can actually do. If that target still has regeneration, then you're going to apply regeneration to yourself and all Winter Guard allies. So it might be one of those targeted things where if you have somebody that has a bunch of regens, you can use that to your advantage, right? You can use that to your advantage and pick the opportunity to use that basic if it's appropriate. Now, when the character does an ISO 8 attack, counterattack, or an assist, right? So they can be brought in for an assist. You can get counterattacks by pulling positive effects from the other people. Then you're not going to get any of those extra things except for more damage, and you get extra piercing damage per Winter Guard ally. So you can have up to 4 Winter Guard allies. So that's 120% piercing damage. Not bad at all. We got the basic KO animation for you here. Always a wonderful thing. The art department does such a good job with these finishing moves. So that was 2 hits, and we got 1 more for you. He's out of there. Darkstar is an extraordinary member. She is one of the 2 primary damage dealers on the team. So between her and Omega Red, that's what's needed to win matches. So with her involved, you're able to start winning matches today because everything says you need 3 other allies. We already have 3 allies in the game. I will be using power cores to pick her up. The question is, do you have the resources to power up all 4 of the Winter Guard members before Ursa Major comes out, right? If you do, then it's probably a good time to go ahead and pick her up, right? I don't know about cash money. That's not really a decision I can make, but the team will function with her as that 4th member. We can slot in a 5th, and because the damage and the healing is already there. Those are my thoughts. What do you think? What are you going to do? What are your plans for the Winter Guard team? Let me know in the comments below.